Good morning, folks. Very excited to be here today. My story actually starts right down the road from here. I grew up in the middle of Silicon Valley, surrounded by a bunch of nerds. So I became a nerd, studied computer science and electrical engineering, and then kind of meandered around doing a lot of different stuff. I worked in fiber optics and DNA synthesis, even was a sushi chef for a little while. And things didn't get kind of properly weird until I met my co-founder. Eric Gradman. It turns out we're both trained clowns, and he's also an engineer, a roboticist. How two nerd clowns found each other, I'll never really know. But the thing that was really special was, clowning has a kind of a bad reputation in the US, but it's a very special practice. You learn about having a soft mind, which is approaching the world kind of like you're seeing it for the first time all the time. And so he and I just, in 2008, the world financial crisis, we were pretty frustrated with what we were working on, so we just started collaborating, making interactive art, taking whatever tools and tech we could get our hands on, pointed a camera and a projector at a whiteboard, made this little simple interactive that we took to a party. People liked it, so we just kept making more stuff, threw as much as we could against the wall. 6-player game tables, rock band for a space battle, even filled a room with fog and laser beams, which, everybody knows what to do in a room of laser beams, so that was super fun. My co-founder ended up meeting his wife in this thing, and they had their first kid a year and a half ago, so I still consider this our most effective thing. And so we finally said, okay, this has been a side project, let's turn it into a real thing. We launched a high-tech circus called Bit Circus, continue to make lots of different kinds of attractions, escape room for Warner Brothers. We helped people feel what it's like to be an athlete at the Super Bowl running the touchdown pass, what it's like to dive off the high dive at the Olympics, even made a cloud that rains tequila for the Mexican Board of Tourism. Just love the Mexican Board of Tourism for this. And we kept sort of trying all this kind of stuff and realized, gosh, as a bunch of nerds that are getting to play with all these fun things, maybe we have an opportunity to get kids excited about science and engineering using this fun stuff. And the thing that was really great and was really driving a bunch of what we were doing was all of this stuff is easier than it's ever been, right? Programming used to look like this. Oh my God, I studied computer science and that's terrible. Now you can do it in pictures on your iPad. Okay, awesome. CAD used to look like this. You can literally do it in your browser now. And amazing things like Glowforge turning laser cutters into an appliance. You could literally have this on your desktop. And one of my other just absolutely favorite quotes is that inspiration comes during work, not before it, right? You're not sitting on the couch and having a light bulb moment. You are actively engaged in something, and that's when you realize, oh my gosh, we could do this a different way. And one of my favorite stories is actually just up the road. The creator of Bop It, Dan Klitzner, is a really incredible creative, and he set out to make a new kind of remote control for TVs. And he was like, hey, wouldn't it be great if it was like pizza-shaped? And the TV industry was like, no. And then they were like, oh, it could be football-shaped. And they were like, no. And so he was like, well, what if I could hit it to change the volume and twist it to change the channel and all this kind of stuff? And they were still like, no! And finally he was like, well, okay, screw the channel changing part. Like, this is just a fun toy. And sure enough, it became a super successful piece of thing. But if he hadn't have set out in the direction of reimagining channel changers, he would have never landed at this incredible toy. And so the idea of just like getting out there, doing it, right? Have a bad idea and just double down is a really powerful way to go. So if the old school way of learning was that you learn to read so that you can then spend a lot of time reading to learn, we're firm believers that you learn to make so that you can get engaged doing stuff and then make to learn. So as a bunch of STEM nerds, we felt like, gosh, we want a bunch, my big, kind of reason for being is getting as many kids excited about science and engineering as possible. But we felt like, gosh, even though we'd studied STEM, it still kind of has a bad reputation. A lot of people think of nerds, they think of this guy. And that's not quite as exciting as being a basketball player or a DJ. And really we wanted people to think of this woman, right? Anouk Wipprecht, an incredible fashion designer, inventor, creative. This particular wearable electronics, if you come at her from the side, those little things like jump out and attack you. So she's just, absolutely incredible creative inventor. And so we got very excited about the term STEAM for STEM plus art, right? Get the creativity, get the fun in there as the hook. You know, a little bit more like this guy, right? Leonardo da Vinci, incredible creative, incredible inventor, artist. So we launched a big traveling carnival called Steam Carnival. One half all this high-tech entertainment, and then one half a bunch of hands-on projects where kids could learn about science and engineering and programming to make their own games. So remember the old dunk tank? You throw a ball, you fall in water. We were like, you know, that's pretty cool. Water's great. Fire is awesome. And so we took it. You throw this ball, you're immersed in a fireball. You don't die because you're wearing a fire suit because science is awesome. You can see here this and just a tiny little thing about this. We were sponsored by IBM and Intel and a fire suit company. And as we finished this in Los Angeles, we're getting ready to bring it up to San Francisco. I call up the CEO of Nutex, which was the fire suit company, and I was like, hey, we're getting ready to bring the dunk tank to San Francisco. Hey, do you have those things in kid sizes? He was like, what? No, I don't have them in kid sizes. I was like, yeah, okay, that's probably a bad idea, yeah. But I just love this picture, right? Like, that is never going to be forgotten. Just tattooed on his brain there. So we took that whole program, we packaged it up as a foundation, and it's now basically a complete alternative to the science fair. We package up clean waste from companies to teach the environmental sustainability side, provide all the professional development, the physical tools. Kids spend 6 months building their own games, and then they throw their own carnival. And it's been really a ton of fun. In fact, I'm so excited to be here today because we just had 2 of them a week and a half ago, one in Compton, one in Hawthorne. These girls made their own pinball machine using candy. These guys made their own foosball using popsicle sticks. And there was even their own dunk tank with water. So that was great. It was really exciting to see that happen. And a capstone project of really making their own game. They now get, you know, their own physical electronic game, merges the electronics, the programming, all of that. So I would like to share with you that creativity is a muscle, right? Just like your bicep, you can work on this, you can practice at it. We packaged up a bunch of our approach to creativity for this curriculum, but I'd like to share some of those things with you today, hopefully bring back to your own life. So one of them is random input. Cultivate a practice of random input. Expose yourself to as many different things as possible. Because what happens is, when you go to have a creative inspiration, you're only going to be drawing on your own life experience. Now, that life experience could be limited, and you going to work and going home and going to work and going home, or it could have lots of diversity, lots of stuff that you've exposed yourself. I really like conference crashing. I urge you to go to totally random conferences that have nothing to do with your life. You'll be in Vegas for CES. There'll be like 10 other conferences. The packaging convention, the auto salvage convention, and you wander around those things, and you're just going to see weird innovations in other spaces. And creativity really happens at the intersection of domains, and so some innovation in one place can be really relevant in another place. The opposite of random input is reflection, and you've probably heard a lot of celebration around mindfulness and meditation, and really this is about taking a moment to do nothing, right? Have no music on, have nothing else. Let your brain be the powerful parallel processing computer that it is. It will find all sorts of amazing connections between the things that you're being exposed to. Take notes. I have had a physical piece of paper in my back pocket since I was little. I love that Allstate's got these notepads for you outside. It has been proven, if you are physically writing things down, you will remember it better. You are an incredibly fast typist. And what happens if you are taking notes on a computer or on your phone is you get into this mode where you can almost just be dictation, and your frontal lobe isn't even involved. When you're taking notes, you have to, as a slow writer, distill down the concept and write it down. And that distillation involves your frontal lobe, helps you remember it better. Access to tools. This one's never been better than now. Router tables, CNC print, mills. 3D printing gets all the airplay, but all the rest of those desktop fabrication tools are incredible. And oftentimes you have a problem and you think, gosh, what tool can I use to solve this? Sometimes just having the tool, you think, gosh, what can I do with this cool tool? And you end up with some fun inspiration. Stimulating environments. We try to surround ourselves with as many other people doing interesting things as possible. We have a top secret nerd night, which is a little bit like Fight Club. club. If it's your first time, you have to present. A ton of fun. It exposes our team to other folks and our other folks to our team. Cross-disciplinary. I'm almost out of time. So mentorship. This one is super important. You guys are all mentors. You all have something great to teach. And the thing that's amazing is one-on-one with a student is absolutely invaluable. And if you don't believe me, you get oxytocin from being a mentor. If you still don't believe me, you get oxytocin from being in the room where mentorship happens. So just watching it happen is really incredible. So I urge you all to be a mentor. It's really incredible. Kids are super creative. They come up with all sorts of great stuff. We're getting ready to open an amusement park in downtown LA. I picked the term micro amusement park because it's more exciting than a community center, but I really do think of it as a community center. So, you know, a whole reimagined Midway, a whole reimagined arcade, a 100-seat interactive theater, a secret inventor lab. It's opening in 45 days. So I gotta go. Yeah, thanks.